The holidays are just not the same without eggnog. They're just really not. But for today's video, we're going to be getting our eggnog from some different cultures. So we're taking a trip around the world. My name's Leandro Demon Riva. This is The Educated Barfly. If it's so bad, how did that bottle get so empty? Let's get into making the cocktails. You know, Marius, I think we're gonna have to replace this soon, because it is getting a little junky. Mm-hmm. This old girl's been with us for a long time, though.
We'll see if Santa brings us something.
Oh yeah, that's right. 'Tis the season, my friend. What else do we need? Hold on.
Like there's not enough already?
Cinnamon. Well, you know what? We're doing a little bit. Today's episode is gonna be a little bit of a doozy. All right. Eggs. Christmas drinks, you cannot forget the eggs.
Was there ever like a season for eggs?
What do you mean a season?
Like in nature, do chickens like naturally just give birth all year round? Because usually animals is in the spring, you know?
Yeah.
Birds have little chicks in the spring, but the chicken seems to be like, whatever, I'm just gonna all year round.
That's a really interesting question that I don't know the answer to. But you're right. I mean, like, do people get eggs all year round, or is there a season and then you only have eggs for a certain amount of time? But the thing is that eggs are always in Christmas drinks, which is what we're doing today. So you would think that people would be able to get eggs in the wintertime, but back in the 1700s when what we're doing today was more popular, only rich people could afford eggs. So does that play into their scarcity though? Like, did the cost of them, were they so scarce that they were so expensive? That's a whole nother thing. I don't know, but we have to unpack this. I feel like you have these questions that you don't think of ahead of time, and then now we can't answer them.
Right.
So
if anybody knows in the comments, obviously chickens, they'll lay eggs all the time, but they always used to do that. Is that like a quote unquote recent thing? Recent by like hundreds of years or thousands of years.
In the 1700s, but I will say that these were all holiday
that's the
drinks, and that is the wintertime. So and you know, Posset, which is what. Well, we're kind of getting into the whole information about this. Like, we should really be talking about this later.
I guess if you have like birds at home, like pet birds, they can lay eggs any time of year. I guess I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, so today on Barfly we are doing something that is a first, I think. Marius, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but today we're actually doing 3 drinks that I don't know how to make at all. I've never made them before.
Right.
We are doing a Christmas episode, of course, as you can see. And the one thing about Christmas that I love, that's not true. It's not the one thing. I love Christmas. I love everything about Christmas. I love this time of year. I love when it's cold out. I grew up in Boston and it used to snow when I was a kid, or it was just nice and chilly. And it's just like one of those cozy types of season. It's all about being around family and reflecting back on the year. And it's just everything about Christmas I really love, and just the whole new year in general. But one of the things that I love, one of my absolute favorite things that I came to love when I was older was eggnog. Eggnog has always been my favorite. And today I thought, well, actually, no. Today, Marius thought it would be kind of fun to do eggnogs from around the world. We don't know how eggnog we know how eggnog sort of came about, although the history is a little bit muddled, but we don't really know exactly how it spread around the world. But basically, there is an eggnog recipe in almost every single culture. And so today, we're gonna be doing 3 of them, and I have never made them before. And I don't think that we've ever done that. Like, we've done cocktails, I guess, that I haven't tasted, but we haven't done anything large format, culinary style videos, right? Where I don't know what I'm doing, or I haven't tested it before.
No, I don't think so.
Right, so this is gonna be great. So the first thing that we're gonna be making today is Coquito, which is the Puerto Rican equivalent to eggnog. It looks really great. I'm excited to get into it. You know, what do you think, Marius? We'll talk about the history later, maybe?
Is it specifically Dominican or?
Well, it's not Dominican. It's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Yes, this is a Puerto Rican. So Coquito is specifically Puerto Rican. And so, of course, we're going to be using Puerto Rican rum because you kind of have to, don't you? I guess without further ado, let's get into actually making the thing, shall we?
Without further ado, let's do.
Let's do. First thing we are going to do is we're going to separate a couple of egg whites. As you can see, I'm not very good at cooking. Try to pass it back and forth. Put the yolk in there. So we want to separate 2 egg yolks from the whites. So to this, we're going to add 1 can of evaporated milk. All right, just waiting for this guy to simmer. Consequently, this is the most time-consuming part of the recipe.
Waiting for it to boil?
Just making the egg mixture and then reducing it down. Not waiting it for, I mean, we don't want to boil it, we want to simmer it, which is a light, very light boil. After you've simmered your egg mixture, you want to put it into a blender. But should we do it all? Let's just do it all.
Okay.
I'm a glutton for punishment. Marius thinks I'm going to explode everything all over the place. To this, we are going to add 1 can coconut milk. Sweetened condensed milk, 1 14-ounce can. We're doing 1 cup of Puerto Rican rum here. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Can we just run this very, pulse it for a second, just to mix it?
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's try and pulse it. You ready? Is it gonna explode? All right. I kind of feel like we need to get rid of some to get that froth. All right, hand me one of the handy dandy bottles, please, because we need to chill this mixture, and then it is done. All right, thank you, sir. We have made a lot of Coquito. All right, Coquito. Now we gotta put this in the fridge and chill it for, well, until it's chilly. I mean, I would chill it for at least 8 hours, and then we'll taste it. So while we wait for our Coquito to chill, let's talk a little bit about the traditions surrounding Coquito and Christmas. Obviously, it's a Christmas drink, and what happens is that carolers in Puerto Rico will go around. One of them has an instrument called a guiro, which is like a percussion instrument made out of a gourd. And then another one is carrying a cuatro, which is a 4-string guitar. Cuatro actually means 4 in Spanish. And then maracas, and they will go door to door and sing carols, play music, and then ask for food for their efforts. And usually they are presented with Coquito. So that's the tradition around it, which is pretty cool. All right, I got my chilled Coquito. I've got my very nice, very festive glass and my reserved cinnamon. Ooh, this is a nice thing. Ooh, that's luxurious. Hey, I'm not mad at that. Do a little cinnamon on it. All right, let's taste it. Oh man, that is good. It's such an interesting flavor because it's like, you can taste the eggs and you can taste the coconut and you can taste all of the sweetness is coming from the condensed sweetened milk. It is so creamy, velvety, smooth. This is not healthy. I mean, so much evaporated milk, so much sweetened condensed milk, so much coconut. It's an artery clogger for sure, but it is damn good. Oh, and you get the rum too. The rum has a really nice little bite on the back palate as well. You're not looking for a ton of nuance in this drink, you know? It's not like you're looking for something that's really layered in flavor, but this actually provides quite a bit of nuance. It's very velvety and sweet from the condensed milk. You get that condensed milk. You feel the eggs in there. You feel the rum in there. It's one of those drinks where you can kind of taste the culmination of all the sum of its parts and then also pick them all out sort of individually at the same time, which for me is a very rare quality and a very good quality in your cocktail. So if you make anything this year, if you want to make a couple of eggnogs, definitely try some Coquito for sure. So for our Auld man's milk, we're going to need 4 cups of milk, 6 eggs, icing sugar, and booze. You can do rum, whiskey, or brandy. So for this recipe, I decided we're gonna use whiskey and we're gonna be using monkey shoulder blended malt scotch because, hey, it's a Scottish recipe. You might as well use scotch, right? First things first, we're gonna separate these eggs, separating the whites from the yolks. We're gonna put the whites in a smaller bowl and the yolks in the bigger bowl. And if you break them, that's okay.
Which one do you think came first? Like,
Don't say the chicken or the egg. Just don't do it.
no. No, I was gonna say, what do you think the word shelter comes from? Shell, and which one came first? Did he say?
Wait, shelter?
Yeah, because it's got shell in it, and shell is kind of a shelter for the yolks
Oh
inside.
my God, you are just filled with deep thoughts, aren't you? I have no idea. I wish I knew though. I wish that I had like really witty asides that I could have a conversation with you, but I really don't know. I mean, we could speculate if you like.
If you know in the comments, let us know.
Yeah, but that does make sense because like shell
Yeah,
covers an egg
yeah.
and a shelter covers your head. So there
Like-
you go, or your body, or you.
Right.
Just
So which one? Like, did they use like, oh, they're seek shelter, and then like, well, this egg, what is this thing called around? Well, maybe it's, we call it shell.
Oh, so which came first, the term shelter or shell? Interesting. That I don't know either. Also, a shell is something that encompasses something, right? So a shell of an egg encompasses what's inside the egg, and the shells that you get in the ocean encompass like mussels, right? And
Yeah.
mollusks and things, right? So
yeah, it's just like you come out of your shell.
right. So maybe shell came first, and then they just decided that it would, and then shelter came from shell. Look at that. I think we're getting somewhere, but we still don't know. And somebody that's smarter than us in the comments is going to be like, you guys are idiots, and this is what it actually means. Okay, so getting on with our recipe, we're going to take our 6 eggs. We're going to beat them until they are just white. Let's beat these guys kind of at a fast speed until they just start turning pale. Okay, once they start turning pale, we're going to take a half a cup of icing sugar and we're going to add it in. Should probably do this on a low speed. Once it's combined, we're going to lower the speed and we're going to add in 4 cups of milk. And then we're going to do 1 cup of scotch. We are going to bottle this guy up. A little for you to take home to the lady.
Oh, sidecar.
Little sidecar, yeah. I wish I had a smaller bottle, but I don't. So
It's like when you go to like Mel's and Johnny Rockets and you order a milkshake, you always get that extra. on the
yeah,
side.
there you go. But this one's better because it's got booze in it. Okay, we're gonna stick this in the fridge. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our whites and we're gonna beat them separately until they form peaks. There we go, we've got our peaks. Normally you would put your Auld milk into the fridge, you would chill it, and then you would beat the whites just when they're ready to serve. You know, you pour your Auld milk into your glass like so, and then you take your egg whites and you put them on top like this. Then we will take a little cinnamon. You can take some nutmeg or cinnamon. I've got cinnamon handy, and we'll just zest it on top. Like that. Voila, there you have your old Auld milk. Pretty nice though, no?
Yeah, it's fancy.
Tastes primarily of booze, sugar, and milk, and that is fantastic.
Tastes like eggs and booze.
Eggs and booze. Eggs, booze, and milk. Tastes like a breakfast of champions is what it tastes like. The monkey shoulder was a good choice, I think, and you get a lot of that monkey shoulder right up front. It's very creamy. It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. And you know, honestly, when I do my eggnog, I usually put sugar in the egg whites to kind of sweeten it more. It's kind of nice without it though. It's like a fluffy texture, but it's just adding a visceral experience without a flavor profile. You know, what's nice about using the powdered sugar as opposed to granulated sugar as well is that sometimes if you don't beat your egg and sugar mixture in your eggnog very well, then you'll get like a grainy texture, which I don't really mind, but then as that sugar dissolves, it gets a little sweeter. But this is just nicely combined completely because it's a powdered sugar, so. It's subtle. It's not like super hot and boozy, it's just really subtle and nice. A very nice after dinner drink. So there's actually some really interesting history when it comes to Scotland and Christmas. Did you know, Marius, that Christmas is a really low-key thing in Scotland? It's not really a big deal, and it's not celebrated that much.
No.
And the reason why is because they have a 2-day celebration for New Year's called Hogmanay that they do, and that's like the big bash that they do, right? And the reason why is because in the late 1500s, Christmas was banned during the Scottish Reformation, and that ban lasted 400 years. So up until the 1960s, people would still work on Christmas Day. And then as time progressed, Christmas became more of a holiday, and it's a little bit more observed, I guess. But that's pretty interesting stuff. So, you know, their big 2-day bash is their big thing. That's New Year's. And in the 1400s, New Year's was actually on March 25th, and then they changed it sometime in the 1400s to January 1st. All right, I'm a little overwhelmed. We've done 2 different eggnogs from around the world. Right now, we're gonna be doing one from Mexico called Rompope. This recipe calls for either aguardiente or rum. I'm not going to use either of those. I'm going to actually use charanda, which is from Michoacan. It is a sugarcane spirit. It has a lot of those kind of banana funk kind of notes, almost like Jamaican rum. Kind of reminds me of cachaça a little bit, and I think it's going to go really great in this. This is a kind of an overwhelming recipe. It's like so much stuff. I would normally go through every single thing that we're gonna do, but I think I'll just list it all below in the show notes, and you guys can get it there. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is in a food processor or a very hefty blender if you have one. We're gonna do 2/3 of a cup of blanched almonds. I'm using slivered ones, but if you can only find whole ones, that's cool too. And then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm using castor sugar here. And we're just going to pulse this into a paste. Now, I've never made this recipe before, and Marius and I were kind of going back and forth about whether or not this is going to create a paste. Also, I didn't lose it, actually. What happened was my son was playing with it. He threw it on the ground, and then I accidentally stepped on it all in one go. And so the little piece here broke, so I have to hold my hand over it because we're very, very fancy here at the Educated Barfly. All right, so we're going to pulse this, and we're going to pulverize it into a paste. Do you think it's going to make a paste? There's nothing wet in here, so I just...
Well, there's the oil in the
oil in the
almonds.
That is then enough. And then Marius was thinking that maybe I should have blanched almonds fresh, which I did not do.
To
But
add
I can
more
tell you guys
water
how to do that. But
content, yeah. But I mean, in theory, you should be able to make almond butter from just almonds.
Okay, so 2 tablespoons of sugar. I use castor sugar and some almonds. Let's start doing it. Just keep it going. I mean, it's made a very fine powder. Should we add in a little water?
Yeah, maybe. Just to keep doing it and see if it'll...
If it'll start clumping together?
I mean, it doesn't look like it's turning liquid.
So I think that there's going to need to be a little bit of liquid in here, and that's what I thought. We're going to add a little, what do you think, half an ounce? We're just going to add a little half an ounce of the charanda. Create a little moisture up in there. See what happens. That's going to clump now. All right, then we're going to turn on the heat here. Medium heat. Is that totally max? Yeah, so we'll do medium heat. 2 cinnamon sticks. I like to break them in half, like so. So we're just going to toast that over medium heat until it becomes fragrant. So once it's nice and fragrant, we're going to add 6 cups of milk to our pot. And then we're going to take the rind of 1 lemon. Get as much rind as you can and try and leave some of the pith behind. You don't want too much pith. I'm gonna throw that in there as well, along with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I only have a 1/4 teaspoon, so we gotta do it 4 times. And a 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. Give this a little stir. We've got this on medium-low heat, and we're just gonna allow it to come to a simmer. And we're gonna simmer it for 15, 20 minutes. And in the meantime, we're gonna grab a big bowl, and we have 8 eggs here. And we are going to separate those whites. I'm gonna have 1 really big omelet.
But the worst kind of omelet.
The egg white, yeah. Well, it'll be the healthiest kind of omelet, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but still the worst.
Yeah, I tend to agree. 1/2 cup, 1 cup, 1.5 cups. We're gonna take our electric egg beater and we're gonna give it the old whirly poo.
Did you plug it in?
I didn't, again, for the 2nd time. Yeah, I just thought, you know, this thing should just run by itself.
I mean, if Tesla had his way, it would.
Wow! I left it on though, there you go. If Tesla had his way, it would have, yeah. And then, you know what else we're gonna add to this, Marius? Our almond paste. Yeah, get in there, almond paste. I'm already very excited about this recipe. It's a little too loud to say anything to you guys while this is running, so I'm just gonna say that we're gonna beat this until it's very combined and pale. It's pretty pale, right? That's done. It's nice and pale. Ooh, it's so good. You know, this mixture is just a fantastic aroma of milk, lemons, and cinnamon. Ooh, it smells good. And the other thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't cook these eggs with the hot milk. So we are going to temper those eggs by taking just a little bit of the milk and putting it in and mixing it in like so. Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to get like a little bit of the heat distributed into those eggs so that they don't scramble when we do this, which is going to be completely beside the point. We're going to add the milk slowly. Should actually whisk for real. It's nice and frothy though. We did not scramble our eggs, which is nice. All right, and then we just let this cool for 2 hours. All right, our rompope is fully chilled. So we're gonna take our charanda, I don't know, people are gonna kill me for the pronunciation. And then we're just gonna add 1 cup into our mixture. You know, what I failed to bring, Marius, is a ladle. So I'm just gonna use this thing. I'm just gonna mix it like so. And then, yeah, I guess we'll just ladle it into this glass. Smells divine. Cheers. Whoa. Tastes like marzipan,
Oh.
especially with that rum.
It's almonds. It is almonds. And
The almonds kind of give it a little texture, like it has a little chewable almondness to it, but it's got this very marzipan flavor. The charanda has an almost tropical flavor to it, right? So it tastes a lot like cachaça. It's got that sort of, I mean, I hate to say like, I keep on saying like Jamaican funk, you know, but it's like that banana tropical flavor that's like just this side of rotten. And I know that sounds bad, but it's actually really good. And this also has it. It has this sort of tropical vibe to it. So you get that tropical vibe, you pair that up with the egg and then also the almond, and it's like this fantastic, kind of reminds me of these little cookies that I used to get in Little Italy when I was a kid. Those had a hint of orange, but if you just did a little orange twist on this, it would be like kind of a dead ringer for it. It's really, really good.
Wasn't there another drink that we did that you talked about those cookies too?
Yeah, the pignoli, which is a different cookie.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it's another Italian
You had a
cookie.
lot of cookies.
Hey, when I was a kid, my dad used to go watch AC Milan because he was from Como, and Milan was the closest city, and that was his team. Not Inter Milan. AC Milan was his team. And he would go and watch the matches every Sunday, and I would go every Sunday to, like, first Mike's Pastry in the North End, which is, like, fantastic Italian food, and you get, I mean, like pastries, but you get, like, the, like, amazing cannolis. When I went back to New York recently, I actually had my brother go to Mike's Pastry and pick me up cannolis and bring them because I just had to have it. They actually ship nationwide, which I did not know. And then he would just sit there at like, you know, inside a cafe. He would have his, you know, I think I already told this story, but
Right.
Yeah, I ate a lot of cannolis and I ate a lot of Italian cookies because of that. This is really good and so different than like a typical eggnog would be. So this is like a really, really nice alternative, I think. So there you have it, Rompope. I love it. I should put a little nutmeg on top. I don't have any nutmeg on me. So there you have it, guys. 3 alternative eggnog recipes from around the world. Now you guys can ring in your holiday and be very, very, very merry. And maybe a little too merry with me. I hope you enjoyed taking this journey with me as much as I enjoyed taking the journey with you guys. And I just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas or a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Festivus. Feminist.
Festivus.
Or whatever else it is that you celebrate this year. Just hold your loved ones close. I want to thank our patrons so much for their generous contributions to this channel that help us do what we do. I know that I say this every single video, but I love you guys and I want you guys to know it. So I'm going to keep saying I love you. And yeah, check out our website, theeducatedbarfly.com, for recipes, our virtual bottle program. We have a lot of cool articles coming up. We've had some really nice contributors from like really bartenders that I just completely respect. So thanks so much to them. Definitely check those articles out. Support them, support their blogs and everything. And I will see you guys on another time.
Yeah, did they work off of some like Celtic calendar or some weird
Possibly.
stuff?
I didn't find a lot about like the reasons why.
Mhm.
That's just the information that I have. But I don't know, maybe we should dig a little deeper. I don't know. What do you think?
Comment below again if you have the answer, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
Keep on
I mean,
commenting.
people are going to comment about it. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
you-
Historical event.
is that why Scrooge was against Christmas?
Oh, maybe because he was Scottish, was he
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
Was the actual
I
Scrooge?
think so. Yeah, that stuff, and then you have the one with the clowns.
Yeah.
You know where that's from? It's from it's called March of the Gladiators,
Oh yeah.
and now it's like
yeah,
this
I know.
clown
It's a clown
song.
thing. Yeah. I think I actually did hear that once.
I don't like that. That whatever that was didn't age well.
But why is that the sound that gladiators make?